Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the State Farm Analyst Desk. We're here for our first tiebreaker game. It's Mad Lions versus INTZ, and the stakes here, quite simple. Win, and you get another chance at making groups. A loss will eliminate you from Worlds, and this is Mad Lions, the one that was turning heads throughout the regular season of the LEC, and a huge letdown for their debut LEC season. They picked up that 4th seed after a bit of a shortcoming towards the end of it. I've got Amazing and Yamato here, and people told me off for standing like this. Hang on. I have to standing still is so hard.
And Richard.
I spent my entire career sitting at a desk, and now they've given me all of this freedom, all this room for activities. I want to do things and stuff. But either way, our statues to my left are Yamato and Amazing. And fellas, as we talk about Mad Lions, it would be foolish not to talk about their opening, which was, of course, against Team Liquid.
Yeah, definitely. In the opening match, we had so many expectations coming in. We thought this was going to be a good year for them, and ended on a good year too. But so far, they've actually been disappointing. And I think that's what we have to call out, because we had so many expectations. We saw them throughout the regular season being able to adapt and being able to make up new strategies. They haven't done any of that. And every time they brought a new strategy in, they've actually been regressing rather than advancing. Yeah,
we saw Carzzy doing his very best. It seems that he's mechanically awake. Yamato, for Mad Lions, do you think it could just be a bit of a hard reset in order? Just someone from the Mad Lions roster just shaking the Mac or whoever, grabbing them and saying, just play your own game for a game. You know, maybe we need to throw this rulebook out the window we've brought into Worlds. It's clearly not working.
Honestly, it's so tough because every individual function is so different, and that's why coaching is so tricky, because every player requires something different. I don't know what these guys need, but it's definitely a change, because in terms of progression, when we look at the teams, FLICKR is looking better, INTZ is getting their stuff together too, coming into this match. If we look at the results so far, INTZ, based off these 4 games, looks better than Mad Lions. Mad Lions are looking worse and worse every game they play, and that is very worrisome.
Yeah, I mean, the INTZ result, let's not forget, that was actually our first taste of Mad Lions, and that was the sketchy one, which did get, indeed, pretty damn sketchy. INTZ, a couple of mechanical errors did lead to a win in the camp of Mad Lions, but INTZ, they are the Brazilian powerhouse that just kept their head above water in today's regulation play. Now it's time for tiebreakers.
Yeah, they did what Mad Lions couldn't do in the second game of their Worlds journey, and that is beating Team Liquid. And that was quite a surprise, given the fact that it was 0-3 at that point. But the way they executed and the amount of confidence they have shown in that game actually makes me hopeful for the next game coming in.
I think also that it was just their ideal draft in that match. They got the Camille, they got the Orianna on Envy. The Brazilian fans kept telling me, this is Brazilian FLICKR. On Orianna, we saw good action. We saw that interaction between them. They are very, very decisive as a team, and when they get the draft to do so, it's good. We have to pay attention to the key champions, Orianna, Camille, or Orome, Senna. What's going to happen to these? Because I think it's just going to come down to draft, as always.
I mean, come on. We just had the conversation about the Lilia, 20% win rate and 95% pick ban.
We won the last game.
Well, precisely, this is where I'm going. We just saw Orome, 100% win rate. He seems to be enough to balance out the Lilia.
Yes.
So is it safe to assume that Orome is once again going to be a prominent presence in this draft to some capacity?
I wouldn't be surprised if it's the first ban. I like that INTZ showed that they don't need to rely on it. They had a good performance with Camille, and that's just such a great thing, because Orome is a band-aid for all your problems.
A band-aid, yeah, I like what you did there. But win conditions, fellas. If you know, the European within me wanted to see the LEC boys kind of find some rejuvenation, where does it come from? How do Mad Lions find a W here today, Amazing?
They have to kind of come back to what worked for them. And I think, especially in the jungle role, I think that's what we have to look forward to. We need to have a comeback to the comfort, honestly. I don't think Eve is a comfortable champion for them. I think they need to understand that Lee Sin, like those early facilitators, is something they have been working around. And honestly, identify again, you know, putting the band-aid on it. I think that's an important part too. We talked about the Orome being a band-aid, but the Orome is a placeholder. This could be any other champion that basically streamlines the comp. This could also be deviating from it. You know, maybe a Shen, maybe something like that. Maybe micaO. We've seen so many things from Alliance throughout the year that there's so much to go back to, but rely on experience. You are a rookie team, but you have had a year of success, so go back to that.
Yeah, go back to what was working. I mean, looking through the win conditions for INTZ, I imagine it looks a bit different. I mean, the way they've been finding their victories, we just saw one of them, does seem to be through playing their game, for the most vague possible summary I could make.
I think the key thing with INTZ is that they are very decisive as a team. I think in terms of how they engage fights and how they're coordinated in them is perfect. They just need to make sure that they have a draft that allows them to do so. I think Envy is a star player on this roster. I think if he gets the Orianna, a champion that has so much agency in the game, then a Camille in the top side, I think it's just key pieces for them to get through early game because they love to roam into mid, RedBert, and of course stay into the mid lane, get Envy ahead, and then afterwards just make sure that you scale into those fights super well, and INTZ will have very good chances against a very, very struggling Mad Lions.
Yeah, we didn't get to recap it last time, but of course they have faced, this is a tiebreaker, so we've seen the results previously, and a quick recap of exactly how that one went down. I think we've got it behind us, so let's breathe all this information
That
in.
one was dirty.
Yeah.
Very dirty.
What's jumping off the page to you fellas as you cast your eyes around the screen?
I mean, honestly, I guess the weird pick by honestly by INTZ. I think running Urgot with Tristana and Ashe together may have been a bit of an overkill on the AD damage department. And I think on the left side, that Eve pick again, we talked about so much. The evolution works together, but it still seemed uncomfortable throughout the game for them. At least the lane dominance was there for them.
Look at the damage delta for Nectar.
4.5.
That's pretty hilarious. Like this game, my biggest memory was just Evelyn was about to die, and then he just TPs in the middle of the lane, and Evelyn survives, and that could have just shifted the entire game. Even though Mad Lions was super far ahead, Urgot somehow, they won fights, they were 5,000 gold behind, they won fights. Urgot was like 8-1, but they just couldn't wave manage, and in the end, they lost because Lucian reached 6 core.
And when we had an interview with Tay afterwards discussing that, it did seem like his explanation for that mistake was, you know, nerves. It was this new environment, and can't believe we're going full circle here, but believe it or not, that's what we've been attributing some of Mad Lions' shortcomings to as well. So both of these teams, both housing players new to this type of environment, and now I think with this being an elimination match, one of these teams goes home. It's who can handle the pressure of Worlds better.
I mean, given the fact that we talked about like Mad Lions narrowly getting a win against INTZ, I do think that INTZ actually has the better cards right now. They come off a win. They must have confidence. Mad Lions has been through three straight losses, so that must weigh on the conscience right now.
Also, if Mad Lions lose here, they will be creating history because it's the first time a major region doesn't qualify out of play-ins, and that in itself is absolutely wild, considering some of the stories we've had in the past of G2 coming through play-ins, going all the way to semis. Yeah. We've seen Cloud9 doing the same. Always the story of these major region teams coming from play-ins and doing so well. This is the stark opposites and the beginning of wildcard regions doing fantastic.
Absolutely, and I think that's a perfect opportunity for us to fill a little bit of extended time here. Seems they're resolving a tech issue on the stage, but it's perfect chance for you. I mean, we've got more to talk about, so that's all fine. But you know, that does bring up that interesting issue of, and I've got distracted myself. What were we just talking about? What did you just mention?
Pressure. About pressure and history.
History, thank you. Through the play-in stage. Yes, thank you. So if we were running with that thought for a moment, you know, the idea of these play-in regions getting stronger and stronger, the passage of time has given enough time for that League of Legends to spread and permeate. Do you genuinely believe we're going to get to a stage within, you know, the foreseeable future where every region is genuinely vying for those spots in Worlds?
I think definitely. I think there are some key things that kind of decide how good a region is. I think player base, I think culture is very important, and also resources in general. In a startup, when, you know, in the beginning in Europe, season 1, 2, when League of Legends was starting, you know, our tournaments were really wonky. We weren't getting paid from organizations, and this is slowly building up. The tournaments are now legit. The leagues are all legit. Players are getting paid, and they can do it as a real job.
Get paid.
This is get paid, yes. And this is when you begin to see the true potential of a region with time and experience, especially the regions that are connected to the major ones. They can definitely get better because some of these cultures are very unique in itself, and they bring something new to the table.
The cultures is another topic I'm sure we could dive into, but first, Amazing, I'd like to know your thoughts, and just following on from that point of the influence of the exports. How much does the influence of exporting talent to other regions have in them catching up?
It is crucially important. We've seen this a ton with NA when they had heavy import years where they brought in a ton of Koreans, a ton of Europeans. They suddenly had an influx of talent, and suddenly that was a trickle-down effect from the top to the bottom, where suddenly even like the solo queue became better. So that in itself is such a valuable asset to have, and having that potential investment coming in is really important for isolated regions especially that do not have that much domestic talent. And I think NA is one of those regions. I think potentially even like Turkey, Brazil, they have been bringing over a lot of international talent, so it is important.
And talent not only in the Rift itself, coaching has become, you know, another big part of the job. And of course, you can see Mac behind him. I was wondering, Yamato, just out of morbid curiosity, most of your hard work's done before you're standing behind the players in the draft's about to go down. But what, with this, you know, 5 minutes of floaty time. What on earth could you possibly impart?
He does speeches, so.
Oh yeah? You get an impassioned speech during that 5-minute period?
Well, it depends. I mentioned it before. It depends on the players that you're working with. I think in such a case, you know, it's such a tough decision that you have to make as a coach because you have to choose what you say. I could make a book for the players before they run into the game with the 5 champions they're playing against the other 5, but you need to just choose the keywords that will stick with them because usually the attention span of players, what they will remember is like one sentence.
Yeah.
And usually I try to rally them around one thing. Okay, refocus. Maybe that's the thing.
Right.
They need to refocus. Yeah. And then they just keep having this mantra within the game because if you start throwing everything at them, you need to do this, you need to do this.
Don't forget about
you make this mistake. Just everything in the moment, present in the moment, refocus. That could be a good mantra, just an example. Could be anything, honestly.
No, absolutely. And I mean, you are making it abundantly clear that you deem coaching something that has to be tailored to the individual players, and I completely understand that. You just saw Shadow opting for his meditation, some players blasting music. I know a couple of players that in the CS scene just have the most absurd, ridiculous poppy playlists that they crank out before they get into the LAN matches. And it does look like I've got some updates for you. The league officials are currently investigating an issue relating to champion select on stage.
They didn't pick Ornn. No,
yeah, that's it. Yeah, no, Ornn, something's wrong. We'll be giving you the updates as they come from the team on the ground over in Shanghai. So do bear with us. You can see there is a little bit of a delay. But if you have just joined us and are wondering what the hell's going on, Mad Lions 1-3, INTZ the same. This is a tiebreaker. One of these teams is not going home. And I genuinely want to start the conversation of, well, dare I say it, predictions. Who are we going to be losing from Group A? And you can back it up with reasoning. We can talk. We clearly have time to get this conversation fully concluded.
It's heart versus brain for me, at least. Yeah. I do believe in Mad Lions. I still think there's so much value in that roster. There's so many playmakers, so many individuals that have shown so much ability throughout the year, like Shadow on his Lee Sin, Shadow on his carry champions, just in general. Then we have Humanoid, his control mage gameplay. It's been incredible, and I think, at least my heart tells me, like, go for them, root for them. But my brain, especially after 3 losses, it's hard for me to see them come back to that confidence because I think they have been a steamrolling team throughout the year where they've actually picked up wins and suddenly became better and better through them.
There's definitely an element of perhaps the Mad Lions roster being unfamiliar with this level of loss.
Yeah, for sure. I think, you know, looking at these two teams, comparing them, I think a key piece for Mad Lions is that they're a team that has a lot of research on INTZ. Yeah. I'm looking at Peter Dunn. He has a lot of history with this team, and I think this is what Team Liquid lacked in their loss. They gave INTZ all the key pieces. The Camille, I don't think INTZ is going to be allowed the Camille. I think the preparation in the draft is going to be the decider. And I have to lean towards Mad Lions, but I can also see a world where everything falls apart in draft if egos are inflated and Ornn is not being picked. So it's a narrow Mad Lions prediction is what I'm saying.
Okay, so by a Nats wing, we've got Yamato for Mad Lions and Amazing's Brains leaning in the South American direction. But a quick update in the group as a whole for anyone that, as I said, has just rejoined us. Team Liquid and Legacy will fight for first place after this game.
It's crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy. Supermassive are locked in for third, so we'll see more from them in the best of 5s, and we'll be facing the winner of Mad Lions versus INTZ. God damn, that sounds pretty spicy too. But that's what the lay of the land for Group A. Group B is concluded. We've already had our eyebrows raised by Group B. It seems Group A has decided to do exactly the same. I mean, coming into this morning, Amazing, if I said Legacy playing for top of Group A, you'd have probably laughed me out of the room.
Yeah, probably. I did think they were actually kind of a weak team compared to all the other teams. I thought they were maybe the 7th or 8th best team within those 2 groups together. But they have surprised me to be fair, and I think that's like kudos to them because it takes so much confidence and so much just like preparation to actually beat any of the top regions, and beating Supermassive itself is also an incredible feat because Supermassive has shown such a proficiency before that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's one I'll keep in mind. But your closing thoughts, Yamato, it does sound like we're getting close to game.
Honestly, Legacy with their 3-1, it was just 2 games, 2 Ornns. I'm looking at this game, what's going to happen to Ornn. That's just... You know, I've been saying Ornn so many times. I'm going to build hype
the other way.
Global Bennett.
I'm going to build hype the other way. Will Ornn continue to have a 100% success rate, or will we see Mad Lions versus INTZ without the GOAT God on the Rift? It's time to get back into the action. Your casters are chomping at the bit to get in.
That's right, Machine. We are. Ornn, one part of the pick and ban Holy Trinity 8-0. Orianna 7-0 and Graves 6-0. That completes the Holy Trinity. Kadriel and I will bring you the draft in just a moment.
I couldn't keep a straight face, I'm sorry.
I asked you to try and keep a straight face. I'm using Kadriel as a prop. But let's talk about picks and bans. Ornn 8-0, Graves 6, Orianna 7. It has been the pivotal champions all time long. Lilia picked up their second win of the tournament. Still seems to be a trap card for me. But we're about to jump into draft. Do or die. Mad Lions, INTZ, Europe, Brazil. Whoever loses is done and they go home. And it'll be the first time ever that a team from one of the quote-unquote major regions, but Mad Lions being the 4th seed from EU, they have to respect the #1 seed from the CBLOL.
Yeah, going into draft. I'm expecting the Bard ban 100% from Mad. Oh, there it is. RedBert got his hands on it once, and although they lost, it's one of his best champions, so target bans on blue side, something we've seen across the board. Another target ban from INTZ. Humanoid Akali popping off this year, popping off last year. Something you want to be scared of. And
I love the phase rush Alistair from RedBert. It worked in the composition.
It did work.
Right? It worked in the composition.
Situational. That's how you want to be with your runes. You want to be flexible. So there's one of the trinities of the Triforce, what you're referring to.
The Trinity, the Holy Trinity of picks and bans.
Of picks and bans.
You said it and I actually panicked for a second. I'm like, what did I call it? Yeah, the Holy Trinity of picks and bans. Ornn is gone. Graves, Orianna still up. Lilia still up. Ashe still up. There's a lot of these priority picks that we have seen, you know, throughout the course of the Players Group stage.
Now, with that Renekton ban, Tay was popping off on Camille on their last win. So that suggests to me Shen Renekton ban, they want to look to 1-2 Camille. If Orome has a response to it, they can go for something else like the Orianna, the Graves, your Holy Trinity of picks for the win rate. Definitely looking at Ashe as well. So I'm looking at Camille for the side of INTZ with those bans. But Mad Lions with the first pick, what are they going to go for? They're going to go for one of the Holy Trinities.
That's it. Orianna, 100% win rate. She is the champion with 8-0. I think I got my numbers backwards. Do want to give a call out to our stats team at LOL Esports Stats. It is, of course, Marcus in the seat. And Marcus has been giving me all the info. He demanded a call out for calling it the Holy Trinity. So there you go, Marcus. Your selfish needs have been met. And the response from INTZ. Ashe is still open and available. Senna has been one of the high priority bottom lane picks. Do they pair it with something else that we've seen a whole lot of, or will we see this priority on Sett? It is a little bit of that flex pick we saw from the jungle, but we've seen it more frequently in the mid lane.
Yeah, they should definitely match AD carry here. I'm expecting someone like the Ashe or the Ezreal. Keep matching what they kind of throw at you. The Sett flex, it could go bot with the Senna. I'm expecting it to go back into the jungle like they ran before, but the Orianna is definitely a strong point for them. And do they want to go for a blind pick jungle as well? We've seen Shadow on the Hecarim, the Lilia, the Evelynn. I don't know which one kind of worked out for him. I don't think any of them did.
No.
So pivoting away from those wouldn't be a bad idea.
And I think it's super important to call out the fact that Shadow was one of the standout junglers in Europe throughout the course of the summer season and has, frankly speaking, not lived up to expectations. Now, with the option to lock in Graves in conjunction with Orianna and the fact that Ornn is banned, without joking, these are the two most successful champions that we have seen consistently throughout the course of the group stage. And this is starting to shape up the team composition. So if we zoom out, Graves, Ezreal, Orianna into Camille, Sett, Senna. What are you starting to see?
Well, I thought the Camille would come in 1-2 because of the Renekton, Shen, Akali bans. Ornn was down as well, so I was expecting Tate to go back to that. They picked it on 3 so they could get an extra 2 bans. So they've invested 4 bans, including the Mad Lions Ornn ban. Essentially 5 bans into the top side now. So we'll have to see what Orome wants to respond. We've seen in Europe he likes his Wukong, he likes GP as well, so he could go for something like that or look for something more tanky. Would help the team with the front line. You've got a carry jungle, you've got mixed damage and AP AD in the mid jungle, so that's really strong. You've got a really scaling AD, so the Blanc Alistair bands coming out from the side of Mad Lions, 2 more top bans from the side of INTZ, and I expect them to pick up perhaps their mid laner here, try and keep the Sett flex alive. You have it Sett support jungle right now. And we'll have to see what Orome has to respond to this, Camille.
You can feel the tension in Kadriel's approach to this draft. Looking at a number of the options, if this Nautilus is locked in, Senna Nautilus bottom lane, leaning towards the Sett middle.
Is that locked in?
And that is going to be Kow'Maw mid. Now, we saw Kow'Maw mid run into Azir's late in the LEC summer season, and I'm anticipating that to go to Envy.
That is probably going in mid now. We normally saw the
jungle Sett then?
Yep. Well, the flex is still alive, but I'm expecting, that Kow'Maw to go mid. We've seen Kow'Maw mid going against the mages, kind of like a poke champ to poke them out, get the wave clear, but Orianna is quite good at punishing the flash, so with there's the Wukong that we expect from the side of Orome. really rounds out the team fights. And I really want to engage support from the side of Kaiser, the main playmaker for Mad Lions. And if they can get more engaged, then this Kow'Maw has to be even more scared. You've got like Orianna, you've got Wukong, maybe throw a Nautilus or a Leona or something in there. Alistar's down. Leona would work really well. Just punish this Kow'Maw as much as you can. If you get some kind of bot prio, try to look at these 3-man dives, because Kow'Maw, it's really immobile. It can be really, really punished. And RedBert hovering the Thresh, which would be useful for the Lantern to try and get the Kow'Maw out of these dire situations. But
I have some nerves creeping in. Leona, Wukong, Graves, into Camille, Sett, Kow'Maw, and it'll be a TK instead of the Thresh. Similar thing, looking for Peel. This will be the first time we see the Tahm Kench, and we'll give you some of those options, but zoom out and tell me what you see about the comps.
I think Mad Lions has a more well-rounded comp. They have good scaling, they have good lanes, they have good team fights, they have good objective control, they have good Baron Rush, they have good single target damage as well as AoE. So I think Mad Lions comp is really well-rounded, but on the side of INTZ, there's a little bit of mismatching. You have the Senna, Kow'Maw, Tahm, which is kind of playing to peel back, try and get as much poke as they can and just hit frontline. Okay. Whereas Sett and Camille want to dive on the backline, try and get onto this Orianna. So I definitely favor Mad Lions' draft, but if Tay can play like he did last game with Envy on this Camille, then I'm definitely favoring them, because the Camille will win the side lane. I think that's one of the biggest threats INTZ have. They have the Senna ult, they have the Camille, so if Tay can keep popping off on sides, push their 1-4 comp into sort of like a side lane advantage, keep a split push up, try and shut down Orome, then INTZ will be definitely favored in the game state. But if it's kind of an even game, I think Mad Lions' team fights might be a bit stronger.
The thing I'm going to have to keep my eyes on is going to be execution, because let's remind ourselves that both of these teams have 1 win and 3 losses between them. It has been a disappointing start to the play-ins group stage, whether you're a Brazilian fan or a European fan, because neither of these teams truly lived up to the expectations and the hope that they had going into the tournament. Yesterday, or 2 days ago, correction, Ender and Medic were on the Shoutcaster desk and they said something that just stuck with me. If you look at the Mad Lions players and the number of stage games that they have, 3 of them have only played 14 games on stage coming into the World Championship. That's because the entire year has been online. Orome's played 15 because he subbed in once last year, and 4 of the 5 players played up until week 7 of spring on the LEC stage, before then doing everything from home, from the office, online. Stage experience, nerves, rookie seasons for the majority of these players, and now traveling across the world to Shanghai, quarantining while a pandemic. There is a lot of pressure and not a lot of experience to manage that situation. And frankly, we haven't seen the players perform to the expectations that we had.
Yeah, definitely. There's lots of things you can attribute to Mad Lions' performance over these recent playing games. I mean, the stage experience is definitely something to look at.
And it's a factor to consider. I'm not saying it as an excuse, right?
Yeah.
That is not my intent. But it is important to understand the context around it and think about that these players, they are young, they are new, and they've mostly known playing from home.
Exactly, playing from home. It's a lot different than playing on the stage, you know, like Yamato said it, I think, so well. You know, the smell's different, the pressure's different, the everything around you, the environment, the ambiance, everything just feels so much different. You know, you're going on a car journey towards the studios, you're in the studios, you're all in your kit, you're preparing for the game. So Mad Lions on the edge of being knocked out of the tournament here alongside INTZ, so this is a really important tiebreaker.
It absolutely is, and INTZ coming in with another different look. The Tahm Kench and the Kow'Maw, not something that we've seen. Phase Rush for Envy's Kow'Maw. Taking a look as well across the rest of the Rift. And, I mean, execution is what I'm looking at, right? Graves, Wukong, Leona, seeing how they go in and deliver that shockwave for Humanoid. If you are a European fan and you're hoping for Mad Lions to make the 4th seed and then set themselves up for a best of 5 against Supermassive, you need Humanoid to load into the Rift right now, especially because he's going to be up against this Kow'Maw. And if this engage composition can get poked down by those living artilleries, they may never get a chance to engage on INTZ.
Yeah, INTZ don't have as much lockdown CC as Mad Lions do. They have the Orianna ball, they have the knockups, they have the Leona as well. So Envy really needs to be careful in these fights. If he dies at the start of the fight and you leave micaO in the backline, I think he's going to die alongside him, because Tay and Shini are the ones diving in. RedBert's just the only peel, and you've only got 1 eat, so
yeah,
you only got 1 tank Kench W, so whichever target they decide to go for, they can always swap. And they've got such good zone control as well. I mean, Mad Lions, they have the Wukong ult, really big zone control in fights. They've got the Grave Smokescreen, they've got the Orianna ball, they've got the Leona, so INTZ need to be really careful around these neutral objectives. Make sure they position properly, don't stack up too much, don't face check too much. Try to avoid as much CC as they can.
And I think it's so important also to recognize the mobility. Frankly, on kind of both sides of the rift, but a little bit more towards Mad Lions.
Yep.
You know, Nimbus Strike, the dash from Graves, Arcane Shift, Zenith Blade. There's a lot of tools to deal with. And Envy at level 1, already going to be under some pressure from that Orianna passive. She's one of the most annoying level 1 champions because of the clockwork windup and the ability to use that ball to just push you around and bully you into specific parts of the lane.
Yeah, if you look at the map here, you can see INTZ has the bot push. Mid's obviously contested. I think they have the top push as well. And Shini is moving towards this top side. So both junglers kind of mismatching each other. Both full clearing to opposite sides. Looks like they'll both take the opposite side crab as well. And INTZ's bot lane might need to be a bit careful if Shadow's coming down here and Shini's on the top side.
Well, let's see what Shadow can do. He has not found the level of early game impact that we saw out of his regular season in summer. And Humanoid right now slowly being pushed towards his tower. The AoE there from Envy doing pretty well. And Shadow is shadowing Humanoid, just lingering, but the wave is pushing towards Humanoid, so maybe wants to prior just finishing off those waves.
Yeah, Shini's going to have to run mid, I think, after this red buff. He goes to Krugs. He's leaving his mid laner quite vulnerable here. Shadow could appear at any moment. Envy's kind of playing with fire here. He has no vision. The wave's not really crashing, so no potions either. So Humanoid can decide to fake pressure this lane where you fake that your jungler's around, makes him have to base, or you can just go all in and just start hard trading on him and then have Shadow cover you in case Shini comes. But Shini went for the Krugs. Looks like he's going to move to the crab afterwards, and Envy might have to TP back here. I think the wave's frozen for Humanoid.
So it wasn't the greatest gank setup. Of course, Graves and Orianna different until level 6.
Yep.
But let's turn our attention to the top lane, which is being heavily pressured. Shini's now making his way towards the top scuttle crab. Orome's down, about a wave of CS. And I do want to talk about this Wukong priority that in Group A, we've seen a bunch of Wukong and really didn't show up too much in the other group. Like, can you theorize for me where this comes from? Is this just from scrim culture? Is this something that this group's meta has evolved into?
It mainly comes down to matchups and stuff. So when Tae picked the Camille, there was 4 or 5 top bans, right? So you're kind of stuck there and you're like, well, Jax is down, Mordekaiser is down, Shen, Renekton, Ornn. All these kind of meta top laners are out, and Wukong, although
you
he's
go down the priority list.
Exactly, you go down the priority list. You go down from S+ to S to A to B. And Wukong is still up there. He's not really out of it just yet. I think his teamfight prowess is really good. He has a really good lane phase, especially against the AD champs with his passive. So we saw it last game as well. Armut on the Wukong, although I wouldn't really attribute the loss to him. I think he played pretty well in the fight. The champ itself looked pretty strong, but Tae has a 10 CS lead right now, and Humanoid TP's back. So Envy, if he does base here, he's going to lose another wave. So Humanoid definitely having the pressure in mid. Tae has the pressure in top and bot lane. Just looks like a farming.
Let's see how many of these CS Orome can pick up under the tower. Didn't see. I thought Humanoid missed that cannon minion in the mid lane. Thought you would have made fun of him for that. It's been pretty customary when it happens. But nevertheless, plus 10 in the mid, minus 8 in the top, and bang on even in the bottom lane. Back has already come in here for Carzzy and Kaiser, and they've got their first itemization making their way to lane pickaxe instead of the tier.
So if you look at mid lane, just a sort of key point in League of Legends itself. So there's lots of trading in mid. Envy had to base first and TP'd back, so that means Humanoid was still on his first base items. He took some damage onto Envy, chunked him out, and then he TP'd back later on. So that means Humanoid had more gold when he based. He had more potions as well coming back. So that means he has more pressure in mid. So you can see that activating on the map. He pushed in the wave. He put this ward on Raptors. He's found Shini. He's poking him out. He's being a bit of a nuisance. And that's kind of how you want to use your mid power in the early game. If you don't have like a Sett or a Galio where you can dive bolt, you want to use it for vision, for map control, and just keeping the enemy mid under tower so you can respond to any play that happens on the map.
Very well played by Humanoid, and we need to see if he can keep it up, right? Can he maintain that level of play? The wave is now moving back towards him, and Teleport came in for Orome in the top lane. Doran's shield, Doran's blade, as well as a longsword. So he's definitely hanging out with Doran this game, and Tae comes back to lane with the Sheen. Now, once again, Shadow showing priority in terms of his time and his presence by lingering around Humanoid. Obviously, the wave this time pushing towards Envy. So maybe a little bit of cover, or do you think he's looking for something more now that Shockwave is available?
No, you said it right, Trevor. Basically, that's how you want to play the mid jungle. You want to make sure he can keep the push. So when your mid's playing this aggressively and has the push and is trading really hard, you want to be behind your mid so that if Shini were to come engage onto Humanoid, then Shadow would be there to respond as Tae tries to get the hook shot, but Orome.
It's so frustrating to deal with that warrior trickster, and you know, because Tae's initiation is so telegraphed with that hook shot, it gives Orome on the Wukong options to make his way out. But it is important to note, Tae has been bullying that top lane. Plus nearly 20 CS Now the initiation goes in. Kaiser finds the Zenith Blade. RedBert taking most of the damage, and Carzzy dropped below 200 hit points. One more, two more autos may just about do it. Carzzy escapes for now. micaO and RedBert winning that 2v2 for sure.
Looks like it's going to be a 2v2 mid-jungle here. Shadow thinks he can turn, but Tay's here. He needs to back off.
Here as well. This is going to be a 3v2. Flash was used by Shadow to get over the wall. Quick draw is available, and Tay holds on to the hook shot. Orome, because the wave was under his tower, and he is behind, he didn't want to leave the lane. The cost would be too high.
And not only does Tay have Orome on the tower, he has a 10 CS lead. He also has TP advantage. So this whole top lane phase is going so poorly for Orome. He's trying to push it out now. Tay is looking for a plate, I think, here, or so he might have to back off. He has the Sheen for tower damage, but just in general, Tay shifting his pressure to mid to help the mid jungle out of INTZ to actually contest the 2v2, because Humanoid pushing the wave, Shadow sits behind him, then they move together. Him and Shadow take the crab. You saw Shini get pushed out about a minute ago, and then they try to keep this up, but the way to break that is to throw in another person, try and get a 3v2, push them out, take the vision, they got a little bit of wards into their jungle, and then INTZ can start playing the 2v2 more. So 10 CS lead for Humanoid almost. Tay, when he gets back to top, should catch this wave and be 10 CS up as well, but Carzzy holding on to those sums. He was holding on to the heal, and he was on about 100 HP.
Definitely realizing the risk that he was in, playing it on a knife's edge. And I love the pace of the game so far. We've been able to have a special segment, Learn League with Lamont, as you've been able to clearly demonstrate and explain how mid-pressure can unlock jungle invade. And then we just saw Tay with the pressure he has top lane. Look at the CS advantage he's built up. He's got teleport as well. So if he wants to back, shop, and TP, or maybe follow up on some sort of play, he can do so. But when we look at the minimap, RedBert has already made his way to the Rift Herald, and micaO making his way there just a little bit later because Carzzy has to deal with the minion wave in the bottom lane. He's got no TP to interact with it, and it looks like INTZ will get potentially uncontested access to Rift Heralds.
I think a bit of miscommunication from Mad Lions there. Shadow and Kaiser ran towards the Herald thinking they can contest. Orome was in base. Carzzy went bot, so I think definitely the call there was to cross map and take the Drake, but look at top. Tay just has...
He hasn't backed yet, has he? Since picking up the Sheen earlier, so
and
I think
he still has teleport as well, so I think INTZ, if they can move their pressure from the top side, you can see they have 4 pinks on the top side. If they can catch this bot wave, push it out and put the pinks into the bot side, they should be able to get the Drake as well, because Tay is basing. There's 2 wards behind Mad Lion's bot lane.
I think they'll be able to back away in time, right?
Yeah,
I don't think
playing safe.
I don't think Tay will have enough time to TP in behind Carzzy and Kaiser.
TP's top, so...
But literally, I was pointing out those wards at you very excited, like, it's gonna happen,
Yeah.
but no, it didn't.
So he does TP back top. Shini and him are playing pretty well. They have the Herald, and you definitely want to use it for Tay, because his Camille last game when it was ahead looked so deadly, and Orome does ult onto Tay.
Alright, Shadow's here, Shini's here as well. Cyclone committed. Collateral damage is available for Shadow, and I think he's been able to sneak his way into this top bush. And now we've got an Alcove Gamer set up. Looking at the minimap, Shini and RedBert, they've backed away. So Tay could be in trouble if he pushes
Problem
forward.
is they don't have any CC, so he can instantly hook shot out if he sees Shadow. So Shadow does the smart choice here. If you're a solo queue jungler and you do dash in there and push the wave in, then you reveal your location. And if you do that, then INTZ, maybe their bot lane would have stayed for an extra wave. Maybe Envy would have played it more aggressively around mid. So giving information to teams in the early game is definitely what you want to avoid. So Shadow does base there, avoids showing himself. And look at all the pinks on the top side of the map for INTZ.
It's insane.
They need to get those pinks to bot side. They need to start controlling this dragon and try
Was
to fight
that set up? I missed the timing on that. I would assume that was set up for the red, for the Herald.
For the
right?
Herald, exactly.
Yeah.
They set those all up to the Herald. I'm expecting them to transition them more towards bot side, probably more defensively, like you just saw from RedBert there on the Wolves bush next to there in the blue side jungle, because Mad have river control. Their bot lane's always having the push. They have mid push as well, so Orome's going to have TP up soon, so they need to respond to some defensive plays towards bot, or alternatively keep the topside vision, put Shini back up there, perhaps bring Envy with a TP or RedBert with a roam, and try to put the Herald top to get this Camille rolling.
Okay, let's see which option they pick. We're 11 minutes into the game, and so Marcus Aurelius, give me some expectation setting for the next 10 or 15 minutes. Once we get to 1, 2 items, how do you think the team comps are going to interact with each other? I know we've covered a lot about the dive. Can Leona, Graves, Wukong, can they find the Kow'Maw? If they can they do that while Camille and Sett don't obliterate their Orianna and Ezreal?
Yeah, starting from the beginning of your point, if you look at the items, there's all four of the carries in the game have tier. That's why the game is so slow right now. Everyone's scaling up. Everyone wants to get to 2 to 3 items. Kow'Maw comes online at level 11, 2 items. Orianna, kind of the same, wants the Seraphs, wants to get something like the Looted Echo as well. Rabadons. Ezreal as well wants the Gauntlet, Death Stance, Senna wants to get the Yomus. There's loads of items that want to be picked up here, basically, Trevor.
Back in the day, those tiers, if you had multiple, it would be called a power trough.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Just so you know. I know, you're young. I'm teaching you some things too, you know. I've got a few in the bag that
Thanks
even
for
you don't
blessing
know.
me with your knowledge.
Right, so let's carry on now. The
That's
power
Orome.
trough phase is currently on the way. Orome has that flash available, holding on
Could be
to it
first
for
blood.
now, and he gets just dunked down. It's Tay that picks
This is so good for INTZ. They can Herald top. Matt can't really respond. The platings are up for 2 minutes. I think this Herald needs to be used top now. Tay gets first blood, 11 minutes in. He has a 20 CS lead. He's a level up. He's really going to start winning the side lane. So,
And they didn't even need RedBert. Like you said,
Yeah.
you put Shini up there, put some pressure on him, and it unlocks Tay, and there's the Herald.
yeah, I think Shadow can defend the tower, but the plates are going to go over to Tay. And he should be building towards that Triforce now. 240 gold from the plates, 400 gold from the first blood, but Kaiser's up here. I think it's going to be a 2v2. The TP's behind them.
This is very low levels at the moment. Shini forced to flash, goes golden for the time being. Here comes Orome. There's the Nimbus strike into the crushing blow. Gets enough damage down to get Mad Lions their first kill of the game, and it lands in Shadow's back pocket.
Yeah, good play from Mad Lions there. Orome using his TP to actually get something for the team. It looked like Shini could have lived with the W, but lots of damage coming out from the side of Mad Lions, and I think that's just an overstay. I think Shini and Tay, I would like to see the replay, but I think they should have pushed the wave together and heralded it, hit the tower together, and then ran away together. Do things together, right? You don't want to push the wave alone, one of your
Buddy
bases.
system.
Exactly, the buddy system. Make sure you do these plays together, and INTZ, although they did get punished there, they are still ahead in gold. I think the gold is on the right members. Tay just picked up the Triforce, so he should be able to bully this top matchup quite hard.
What I love about games like this, elimination, do or die, you know, last chance saloon, you can feel the tension in the decision making. We've had some bloodbaths throughout the course of the group stage.
Oh, yeah.
And this is the last chance for Mad Lions and INTZ, and you can feel it. Now, acknowledging the fact that the team compositions as well, right? They want items, they want to scale, they want to farm. So that also helps out the slower pace of game. But for the time being, INTZ and the CB LOL have got themselves a gold lead. They picked up first blood. They took down a couple more plates than their opposite numbers, and it is feeling to me like they have a little bit more momentum on this side.
And as the items come in the mid-game starts to roll in, Trevor, you're going to see two different playstyles. Mad Lions are going to start objectives just like this. They're going to want to fight with the Wukong, the Leona, the Orianna. So they want to be really aggressive, start the fights, get the wombo combos, whereas INTZ, they want to be more calm and collected. They want Tay to push outside, deny gold by doing it by minions, have the Tahm, Kench, and Senna use their globals, but INTZ are looking for a fight. They don't have TP on Tay.
Shini's going to use the Hex Flash. Mad Lions will be able to pick that up, but Showstopper comes down. Shadow will get taken out. Okay, losing one, but picking up the Dragon and getting a teleport, probably worth.
Definitely worth. I think INTZ's comp really needs gold. Dragons don't matter too much. Getting gold on something like the Kow'Maw, Senna, the Camille, when these champions get ahead, it's much easier to control the later stage dragons rather than the early stage dragons. So focusing on gold is good for INTZ. I think Shadow misplayed that. He could have just ulted and flashed over the wall instead of letting Shini get behind him. Yeah, I think that's just a poor play from Shadow, but he does get the dragon. He has a kill, so he's not really out of the game, but Herald's coming up soon, so I think that's going to be the next objective that the teams are looking at. And look at mid lane. Envy's hitting on this tower. Tay's there as well. They might lose mid tower for this because if Humanoid had the base, I think.
Yeah, definitely the case. It was 3 plates.
Oh no, he was
to
soloing
2.
blue. Tay must have pushed him out.
There we go. INTZ were able to pick up 3 plates before they dropped. They pick up the tower first blood as well. They're 2,000 gold up. There was a line you said just a few minutes ago. Shadow misplayed that. I wish I'd heard that less throughout the course of the play-ins groups. And I know it is a critical thing to say and maybe a little bit unfair in this small context, but in the greater context of the 4 games that we've already seen played, for a guy that had such a huge impact in summer, especially in the early game, he's not found his rhythm. Now this time around, with the help of a teleport from Orome, was able to pick up the first kill on that Graves while helping out Orome in the top lane. But look at the unenviable task. Humanoid, the only one in the top 5 gold members in the game thus far, because INTZ, they've got the kill, they've got the farm, they've got the first tower, and they're in a very good position moving into this mid-game.
Yeah, Herald is the next objective for both these teams, and INTZ taking down that mid tower means contesting mid power is so much easier. You can play really far forward and catch these waves aggressively. If the Mad Lions step up too far and you punish them, they have no tower to fall back to, so they should be able to get the mid power a lot easier, push it into tier 2s. The only real way I can see them Mad Lions contesting it is Humanoid zoning away Envy. Envy has no flash, so Herald's not the biggest deal. At 15 minutes in the game, you don't get plates, but for Mad Lions, it's huge because that'll unlock mid tower for them.
Yes.
Whereas for INTZ, it's only really going to unlock a side lane tower. So denying it's always good, but I think having a straight 5v5 and losing it when you're scaling with these champs is not the best thing.
And remember, of course, when Rothschild was looking at being started a little bit earlier, It was Shadow that got a little caught up. That's the flash. Shockwave. Here comes Kaiser. Solar Flare lands down. Will there be enough follow-up damage? The Devour from RedBert keeps him alive, but the burn will take him out. Humanoid and Kaiser find the kill. It's a little late, but I do need to give you a quick update that the first blood in this game is the latest of Worlds 2020 so far. It just builds and highlights how the tension and the slower pace of game is playing out. Mad Lions, while they commit to mid, they do not get access to the Herald. It'll be Shini and INTZ that pick themselves up the second Rift Herald, and Mad Lions will now start putting pressure on the bottom outer, well, the top outer goes down.
Yeah, I think we talked about it in the draft. Kow'Maw is so immobile. Humanoid instantly pulls the trigger because Envy had flash in around 20 seconds just before that play, so make sure he punishes it, calls in Kaiser. They pick up the kill on the immobile Kow'Maw, and like you said, 2 towers traded, so barring that kill on Kow'Maw, INTZ did come out ahead because they got the Herald, so bot tier 1 should get cracked open really easily with Tae being in the bot side. Pop the Herald from Shini, go back towards mid, and look at the vision control on the map right now. There's 3 pings for the side of Mad Lions, one just got moved to the top side, but they're all kind of in the river, so INTZ, there's no pinks in the river for them. They need to start clearing out these pinks, get some vision, then Kow'Maw can step up aggressively, push these waves in, Tae can start pushing in bot more aggressively, and he won't get arrested by the weak side police, so Mad Lions, I think they're going to cross map again. They're going to play for top tier 1, INTZ going to play for bot tier 1. It's kind of like a handshake right now. But
with the minute 20 till the next dragon, and the fact that Mad Lions picked up the first, let's see if this handshake play goes, which is what it looks like is happening. Can INTZ get the tower as well as the dragon? And you can see all of the wards from Mad Lions in the northern quadrant of the jungle. That red brambleback from INTZ is fully covered.
And RedBert needs to do the same thing. He needs to pair up with Shini and get really deep vision into bot side so Tae can push aggressively. You can see him on the minimap now. Moving in there, he's going to scatter all his wards around, light it up. And someone's going to have to catch top wave from the side of INTZ. I don't think they should drop them. Investing a TP, they don't really have one to invest. I think micaO would die if he TP'd there, but Humanoid's going to get a lot of damage on this tier 2. I think INTZ either commit for this tier 2 or someone has to base soon.
Humanoid's still got the teleport available, so if INTZ stick around and there's a potential skirmish, which is what Shini's threatening, there could be a fight. You can see Humanoid starts to back away. Dragon is up in 30 seconds, so this ends up just being a huge trade. Humanoid, the big beneficiary. He's got 30 CS in the lead already. He's picked up the solo towers, and if there's going to be a dragon fight, he may be able to farm up and TP in for it.
Yeah, definitely slightly beneficial for Mad just because INTZ wasn't catching the top waves. You can see the waves bouncing in top now, whereas Orome was able to catch the bot wave, which was stacking for tier 2.
Well.
They're going to lose their red as well, but bot side vision is better for the dragon, obviously, because it's on the bot side of the map. So this INTZ vision is definitely more beneficial for them, but Tae is going to the top side. So he doesn't have TP, so I'm guessing INTZ are going to give this up, try to contest top side vision. Baron's coming up soon, and it's either Ocean or Infernal. It's Ocean Soul, so INTZ, they need to start fighting from now on.
Now this is huge because Ocean Soul is going to benefit both teams exceptionally well. I mean, it does every comp, right? But even more so today. And the thing, Cadril, that I really want to call attention to is you talked about the playstyles. Mad Lions will want to force objectives, will want to fight around objectives. The 1,000 gold difference, frankly, doesn't mean anything right now in the grand scheme of things. And when you look at Humanoid, the player that I said needs to be Humanoid this game, he is poised to do so. How do INTZ, from their perspective, play this out? We know Mad are going to look for either towers or the Baron or the Dragon. We know they want to force team fights. INTZ needs to kind of catch that and deal with it in some way.
Yeah, look at the items across INTZ. They're so close to Black Cleaver. They're so close to maybe a Zhonya's on the side of Kow'Maw so he can live longer. Death Stance on Camille. I think they've given up the early Dragons. I think that was a good choice. You have double tier carries. Even though Mad Lions does as well, they have more playmaking. They have more engage. They have more zone control over the neutral objectives. So INTZ, get those 2 items in. I think Tae might be getting this top tier 2 right now. Mad Lions might need to collapse. Looks like they're going to go for it. So Tae will have to back off. And when those 2 item spikes come in, then I'm expecting INTZ to start pulling the trigger on these late game dragons. The 3rd dragon, 4 minutes away. I'm expecting a fight to be over that or Baron control vision.
Yo, this is so difficult because this feels like it's coming down to a handshake of like late game objective fights.
Yep.
And then it's execution. You've got 2 different styles of team comp. They're going to be clashing at least to some degree. And it's 2 teams that frankly haven't shown the greatest execution yet in the group stage. So the pressure could not be higher.
I agree. And the way INTZ want to control these neutral objectives is Tae. Tae is the key for them right now. They have double global on the side of micaO and RedBert. When that Tahm Kench hits level 11, his ult range is going to be really long. So Tae can push in these waves. He wins the side lane. They have double global. They need to play over waves when the neutral objective spawns. So on this 3rd dragon, I want to see Tae start pushing in these towers, make Mad Lions respond to the waves and make them have to TP into the objective to actually be able to contest it.
Yo, this is so crazy. The very first game, the very first potential first blood of Worlds, Tay pulled off the most illegal teleport I've ever seen in professional play. He was on the Urgot facing off against Shadow's Evelyn, right?
That was really illegal, yeah.
3.5 days later, he is up 50 CS against Orome's Wukong. He's on the carry with Death Dance and
Shini.
Triforce, and he could be the playmaker that brings them to playoffs best of 5.
They saw Shini with the sweeper, but he's going in.
Has found his target, jumps onto Carzzy, flash, heal, arcane shift, but they didn't get the kill. Dawning Shadow goes out, and Humanoid's Shockwave's done nothing.
Carzzy's out the fight.
The Wukong ulti has not done enough, and it's INTZ pushing the Mad Lions back. Shadow forced to flash, and nobody dies.
2 flashes burned from the side of Mad Lions, only 1 from the side of INTZ. Pretty much all the ultimates were used there in that fight as well, so Mad Lions, they just about got away. You saw the Senna ult come across, Carzzy just about survived, but Mad Lions, good decision not to overcommit. They had the Wukong ult with a lot of knockups, but you need to back off when Carzzy's too chunked.
Yo, huge apologies to anyone wearing headphones. I didn't expect the volume I was going to hit there, but the first big 5v5 at 22 minutes. It's 2 minutes before the Ocean Drake. Everybody threw everything in, but you can see when the skill shots and the damage don't connect at the same time, Carzzy was able to escape. Shini, Envy, micaO not really under huge threat, but now flashless, ultimateless, and setting up either the tower or the dragon. Things are going to get interesting.
No flash.
Arcane shift, buy some time. There's no showstopper available. Mystic shots need to buy it out, and Shini didn't find the initiation. Kaiser goes over the wall. Humanoid Shockwave is available, but needs to find multiple targets. It's flashed away from. RedBert gets away. And for the second time, everyone throws in and nobody dies.
That's 2 fights, but it's 2 teasers. That's what to expect when the real fights come in and people start dying. I mean, there's so much zone control from Mad Lions. You saw INTZ, every single fight so far, they kind of peel back, wait for Mad Lions to overcommit, and then the Kow'Maw Senna kind of turn on them. The Camille looks for the hook shot to get the engage. So I think there was a bit of miscommunication there. I think Carzzy could have died if Shini committed to the play, but he was a bit hesitant. He ran back, he ran forth, didn't land the E, and then Tay kind of tried to go in because he committed the TP. But the Dragon in 50 seconds, it's not the end of the world for Tay to be on bot side right now, so...
Do Mad Lions give it up, or do you think they contest for it?
Oh, they're going to contest for it. They're going to start fighting. I mean, look at the items across the board. I mean, we said INTZ, when they have the 2 items, they're going to fight, and they're responding to them. Although the fights are slightly reactive, apart from the TP, they're doing pretty well to keep the control. You can see the mid waves are being pushed in. They still have their mid-tier 1. They're putting some vision into bot side, so they need to get the 3rd Dragon. Because once you're on 3rd Dragon soul point, if they steal the 4th, it's game-changing.
Of course, now... Reminder, the loser of this is done. The loser of this game goes home. 1 win, 3 losses, and the tiebreaker defeat. 20 seconds until the Dragon. Some decent vision here from INTZ. And looking to teleport up.
Ooh, that Shockwave.
That Shockwave was not really going to do enough. Humanoid's running for his life. Come on, Protect keeps him alive. That's the showstopper. Flash away from Humanoid. Shini gets devoured up. Spat out. Shadow takes him out. True shot barrage flies across the INTZ backline. And micaO and Envy are trying to spit back. Living Artillery is doing so much work. So far, it's a 2-for-1. The hook shot goes long range. Hextech ultimatum locks in Shadow. Orome is held on to the Cyclone. He manages to get the knockup. He's locked down. He's rooted. The Living Artillery is doing so much. And Orome gets taken out.
It's an ace.
micaO and Envy stay alive. Mad Lions are aced.
It's a 3 for 5, Trevor. I don't think they can do Baron. I don't think the game's kind of set and done. They're going to get the Dragon for sure, so they're going to deny the Ocean Soul point, but whoa, that team fight was crazy. Humanoid steps up to try and get a good shockwave chunk before the Drake, but he just gets backfired. They get engaged on him. Shini gets taken down, but Humanoid blew the flash in the fight. Envy blew the flash in the fight. micaO as well. So many flashes burned, so the next fight is going to be critical.
There is too much to follow and so much threat. Envy and micaO played at the maximum range that Kow'Maw and Senna can, and despite all the pressure, they managed to stay alive.
Yeah, look at the ulti from Shini here. He tries to put Kaiser on top of Humanoid. Humanoid does flash away, and then now it's like a, you can see RedBert dies as well. It's like a 3v5, but micaO and Envy doing so much poke damage from the backline. Kow'Maw and Senna just playing the range so well, and Shadow, no flash. Tay engages the fight, and they just stay on the backline. Orome knows he needs to turn, because if Orome doesn't turn there, they're going to kill Shadow. And eventually Shadow does go down. Tay essentially 1v3s the backline. Picks up a triple kill, but he does die for it.
That is so worth. 3-1 and 2. Tay, the man that opened group stage and may be the one to close this out for INTZ. They get their first Dragon. They're up 1,500 gold, but I cannot give enough praise to micaO and Envy. They held their distance side by side. The Cyclone came in, and yes, it sounds so logical when you say it out loud, but to execute that flawlessly under this much pressure, exceptionally well done. INTZ will lose their mid outer turret while Tay is pushing in the top lane. and there's enough support to catch the wave as it goes to the inner.
Now they need to play even more safe than they did last time. No flashes on the side of micaO or Envy. micaO will have it up first, but Envy really needs to be careful. He's picked up the Banshee's Veil. RedBert will be there to kind of eat him away from any sort of danger like the Leona ultimate, but this Banshee's Veil is going to stop the Leona ultimate. It's going to stop the shockwaves coming in for the poke, and look at micaO's items. He's really strong right now. 3-0 and 4. He's doing so much damage in the fight, and if they can keep up this long-range sort of damage, the only way to respond to long-range damage is engaging on it. And you saw Orome try to do it, but there wasn't enough follow-up.
Oh, whoa, whoa,
Humanoid doesn't have TP.
This is a bit of a surprise. Humanoid, no teleport. INTZ
I think they can rush this.
Fully aware of it. Now, Shadow will have his flash available by time this is going down. It's a couple seconds out. He's got the smite available to him. Humanoid's going to be so low. Collateral damage, flash, smite, 2,000 HP. Orome's got the Cyclone as well with initiation. Baron is going low. It's picked up by INTZ. Now can they win the fight? Cyclone knocks up one, knocks up two. RedBert will be the sacrificial catfish, and INTZ so far look like they can get out alive.
Such good decision making from INTZ. They saw Humanoid catch bot wave with no TP. They had a perfect timer. It was around 30 seconds till it came up, so instantly called to start the Baron. They didn't really want to turn. You could see them kind of huddled in the pit, and then they used RedBert as like a bait. Okay, you go in, you go die. We're going to run. We've got Baron on the side of Camille. We've got Baron on Kow'Maw. Everyone has Baron now apart from RedBert, so if they wait for him to come up, they should be able to regain map control. The only problem with doing Baron like this is you lose tempo on the map, so you'll see Mad Lions move into the river. INTZ need to be a bit careful on these side lanes until they get vision, and then they can start playing with the Baron and taking towers.
Rapid Fire Cannon was picked up by micaO. Guardian Angel was picked up by Tay. Baron buff on 4 of the 5 members, and an Ocean Drake in 2 minutes' time. INTZ have the tools they need to start strangling the map and pushing out the Mad Lions. Add that into the fact that there's a 60 CS advantage for Tay. He's got a 2-level advantage, and his split pushing has already been terrifying.
3-level advantage. He just hit level 17. 3 levels up with a GA and a death stance. Look at Orome's items. He doesn't even have a death stance. He has a Tiamat.
This man has something to prove. This man has something to say for the small mistake of teleport at the beginning of the game. Now he will get jumped on Shockwave, Cyclone. I mean, every single ultimate has been used. That pops the GA. Look at the rest of INTZ. They're pushing in the mid lane. So yes, there is a kill.
Weak side police.
Weak side police. Woo woo. The alarm has sounded, but at what cost? Because INTZ get a kill in the mid. Now they've lost Baron on Tay for another minute and 20. That is probably the biggest one and slowing down what could be further pushing.
Definitely way more worth for Mad Lions. Although they did lose a tier 2 mid, it was about 30% HP before the play anyway. And Tay loses his Guardian Angel, loses the Baron buff, loses all this bot push, and that's the thing. When your team's catching mid-wave in between the tier 1s, you can't start farming the enemy team's Krugs. At 30 minutes into the game, Tay gets punished. Good identification from Kaiser. Flashes over the wall and gets on him. So Mad Lions might be able to respond with a tier 2 mid. Tay has TP, so if they stay for too long, there could be another fight.
Shini's looking for an initiation. He's got that flash available to him, the Chilling Smite too, and here comes Envy. Gonna remind everyone again, INTZ have been in tiebreaker games every time Play-ins has been around. In 2017 was the only time they won the tiebreaker to advance to knockouts, and they lost to 1907 Fenerbahce. INTZ may be on the cusp of making
TP's coming in from Tay.
The best of
20 seconds on the Dragon.
Tay's come from the mid lane. He is flying through the jungle. TP coming in here from Orome, and the rest of INTZ begin to back away. We've got a 5v5 setup in the jungle. Who's looking better right now?
This is what I want to see. I want to see INTZ pushing this mid wave and go back towards the Dragon. You're going to have so much control. Engaging here is a bit risky, but Shini's looking for it.
They absolutely are. A lot of damage on the Shini so far. He's forced to flash defensively. Orome manages to find out Tay. Hextech Ultimatum goes down. Defensive flash, hook shot away. The command attack and collateral damage takes out Tay, and that means Mad Lions in the chaos find themselves a kill and buy themselves some time. Carzzy goes all the way forward, takes a lot of damage from micaO, misses the Mystic shot, and Envy spitting away. The living artillery is making it so difficult to push forward through the damage that Envy's putting down.
Mad don't have any engaged left, and INTZ are going to stay around. They're going to be nuisances. The Dragon's up. They just want to keep poking them out. You can see Envy's throwing away the spells, micaO's throwing away spells, but once Mad Lions push this wave in, they should be able to move towards the Dragon, and INTZ need more patience. Tay and Shini need to just calm down, push in the waves, go towards the Dragon, and let them be the ones face-checking you, rather than you be walking into them. And Mad Lions, they're on Ocean Dragon point. Soul point.
Unbelievable. It's still 1,000 gold separating these teams 31 minutes into the game. The item disparity between Orome and Tay is gigantic. Titanic, Warhammer, and Triforce versus Death Dance, GA, and Pickaxe. But I do believe Orome will have a bunch of cash to spend once he goes back. And this is the replay of INTZ splitting out.
Yeah, look at the positioning. You don't want to really fight in this pot. It's like a high ground, low ground kind of thing. INTZ can't really do damage. Look at the carries. They're a bit too split. And Shini goes in, face checks Mad Lions. And that's not really how you want to play the third dragon. You want to push in the waves, move towards the jungle, sweep out their vision, let them be the ones face checking you, and then you can be the ones to pull the trigger, because normally when you're the ones calling the engage and you're ahead, it's more of a beneficial fight than you over chasing into their jungle.
Oh man, I love Worlds Tiebreakers so much. 4 minutes until the next Ocean, and that is the sole for Mad Lions. It's the second for INTZ. INTZ, for the most part, have felt like they've been able to catch whatever pressure Mad have thrown at them, and actually been able to hit back a little bit harder. That previous siege, or that previous invade in towards the Mad Lions jungle was a misstep that was punished.
This game's on a knife edge, Trevor. One misstep by Envy or micaO and they die, the fight's over. One misstep by Humanoid with no flash and the fight's over as well. There's so much relying on Humanoid and Orome's shoulders here to get the right kind of wombo combo. Use the ult to a huge effect and just try and zone away this poke that INTZ is throwing at them.
So how important is it that Envy, micaO, RedBert all have flash available right now? Kaiser is on Hex flash, Humanoid's flash is down, so is Orome's.
Yep.
You know, it's weird. On one hand, you want Mad Lions to try start a fight, get those flashes, so that by time you're fighting for the next dragon, they're down. But at the same token, they can't risk it because Humanoid and Orome don't have theirs up.
Yeah, they need to get this gap closed onto the INTZ backline, and even then, RedBert's kind of peeling. So you can see the way INTZ plays fights over the course of the game. Tay and Shini diving in, micaO and Envy poking them out, and then Mad Lions, how do you respond? Do you peel back and try to kite them away? Well, you can't because you're getting poked, so you have to turn. Orome has to find the engage on the backline while Humanoid deals with the front line of Tay and Shini, and then they can start to assist. But RedBert, a bit caught there.
Solar Flare, not the best, but he'll get the flash. Solar Flare for flash.
Not bad.
Well worth it. While we got a brief moment before this next fight, don't go anywhere after this game because Team Liquid will be taking on Legacy for first and second in the group.
Look at Humanoid's items, Trevor. He's sitting on 4 items.
Yep.
He has so much ability power right now. 1 QW from the side of that Orianna, and I can tell you Senna is 10% HP.
Dude, how does he get to Senna? He's got to get through Camille, Shen, Tahm, Kench.
Well, INTZ have to get to them because they have full control over this Baron. The Dragon's in 2 minutes 30, so INTZ eventually are going to have to walk in and contest this vision. And when they do, if Kaiser has the ultimate back up and he just instantly engaged on them, then I think they're in a good spot. But Mad Lions, they could also opt to wait in for their flashes, I think.
Yo, K-Drill, just a quick reminder that Holy Trinity, Graves 6-0, Orianna 8-0. They are being pushed real hard, potentially for their first defeat. By the way, Senna has 80 stacks on her passive.
Whoa.
And look at this gold graph. It has swung from INTZ control to even, and it is still even at 34 minutes. Ocean is up in 2. I don't see a real world, unless someone makes a mistake, a fight breaking out before that Ocean Drake. So what I think we need to do, let's look at Vision. Let's see who's brave enough to fight for Vision, but Baron is up as well, so you could take a trade.
You definitely don't want to trade Ocean Soul for Baron, because Baron will last a couple minutes, but the Ocean Soul will last forever. But INTZ, they've regained control of the map because Mad Lions were down in tempo. They had the base. Tay's going in here. It's 1v5.
They're engaging so hard. Here comes Shini over the wall. Tay's forced to run away. GA's been popped, but he hasn't got Kaiser just yet. Kaiser escapes with his life. The Cyclone's huge, and Shini goes down. Orome's chasing micaO and Tay. RedBert's sitting inside the middle of the Mad Lions, and Envy is using that living artillery to the best of his ability. INTZ lose 1, and Mad Lions are pushing towards Baron.
Mad Lions' positioning in that fight was wonderful. Humanoid was stepping up with Orome, just running past the front line of INTZ, and micaO instantly had to flash away from the shockwave. Envy still does have it. He has TP. He's going to TP back in. Can he steal the Baron?
They're going to commit for this one. Shini, no, not alive for a while. Envy can spit those living artilleries for days. Mad Lions don't commit. They don't risk the throw, and they back out.
Yeah, Dragon in 45 seconds. INTZ need to just drop topside, go push his midwave, run towards bot side. RedBert doesn't have any wards left though, so he might need to base before this Dragon, otherwise they're not going to get any vision. And you can see Mad Lions conserving the tempo, TPing back in. Tay has to deal with top wave, and INTZ are going to have to regain control of this bot side river because they need to fight this Dragon.
Marcus Aurelius, are you not entertained?
Why does Tay go in here? He goes in 1 versus 5. He doesn't have the tenacity to be able to ult instantly. He procs his GA in the backside, so it's essentially a 4v5. If Shini doesn't go in there, they're just going to engage in the backline, and that shockwave was so close to hitting the backline of INTZ, and now they have to face check. Tay, he has TP. He's probably going to TP mid, and they have to go through mid into the Dragon, because 7 seconds, if Mad Lions rush this down, it's Ocean Soul.
36 minutes is fast approaching. Tae's TP'd into the mid lane. micaO, no flash. RedBert, no flash, but Envy has his.
Carzzy soloing it.
Gets chunked out there.
INTZ on a timer.
This is the Soul, down to 3,000. INTZ are going to be very late. Dragon is going to be secured. That's picked up by Mad Lions. Europe and the LEC will have the buff. Now Tae is under threat. Smokescreen tags him out. Mad Lions turn their attention to the INTZ back line. Flash is still available for Humanoid, and Tae is running them around the jungle. And Mad Lions make their way out. Ocean Soul on the side of Mad, and Baron will be the next objective to be fought over.
God, Mad Lions have the game sort of in their hands. Ocean Soul is so powerful.
It's not very confident. That's a flash engage. RedBert is under some trouble. The shockwave's not been pulled yet. Shini and Tae waiting. That's a shockwave used just for RedBert. micaO with the Dawning Shadows. Here comes Shini. RedBert finally goes down, but Envy's in a fantastic spot, spitting the poison from behind the chicken camp. All of a sudden, Orome with the Hextech ultimatum needs to get away. That's the flash QW that Humanoid was looking for. Mac and the rest of the Mad Lions crew are cheering behind the scenes as the blast cone brings Shini and Tae to safety, but Shadow's not done yet. The flash forward, end of the line. Collateral damage is on cooldown. Carzzy is looking for Envy. The spit, the damage, the living artillery, and Carzzy does it.
They have a midwave.
That's the third kill as Shini's the next target.
Orome needs to go to mid now. He needs to TP there now. If they can stop Tae from basing, they should be able to end this. There's 40 seconds on the carries of the side of INTZ. Orome hunting down Tae here.
He's trying to find him. Shadow as well. This will be a 2-on-1 while the rest of the Mad Lions are pushing into the base. This is a lot of damage onto Shadow. Tae's going to look for the precision protocol. He's putting so much damage out. The tactical sweep buys some time. GA will proc. Keep your eyes on the minimap. All of a sudden, RedBert is up and alive. Tae continues to chase for Shadow when he's down.
Is Orome going to TP in the base?
And Shadow finds it. That's the teleport. Nexus turret number 1 is down.
In 3 seconds.
Nexus turret number 2 is down. And for the third year in a row, the CBLOL fall flat at the tiebreaker. Mad Lions advance to the knockouts.
I never doubted them, Trevor.
You, sir, are a very good liar. But
wow,
what a game. And I will say it as I did yesterday. The look on LGD's face was relief. Not necessarily happiness. Mad Lions,
same expression,
relieved to make it to the best of stage for a showdown with Supermassive.
Wow. I mean, INTZ, you have to praise them a bit. They did take down Team Liquid earlier in the day and almost looked like they had Mad Lions as well.
Vamos, Brazil! It was too little, and it was too late. We say goodbye to INTZ. They won a game, they got into their tiebreaker. 3 years in a row, they put themselves in the tiebreaker scenario. For the third year in a row, they fall short. But boy, oh boy, did they make that interesting.
God, so much scaling. Team fights on a knife's edge. Small mechanical plays, just deciding fights. I mean, what more could you want?
I mean, it's the truth. It's just... I look at that game and I look at the level of sort of control and patience that we saw demonstrated by the teams. And Tae in particular, and I know I memed it a little bit, but Tae in the debut game of the World Championship and now his last, those small differences, you know, so huge. Look, throughout Worlds, Mascot is highlighting the fans cheering from around the globe. And today, we're going to say hi to John Ryan from Glendale, USA. John has played League since Season 2, and his favorite memory is from 2018 when he watched the LCS live with his wife, Liz. We wish John and his favorite team, TSM, good luck at Worlds 2020. We're going to get ready for the next game. You will hear more from Cadril and I's Legacy and Team Liquid, a one game away from the group stage. Find out who makes it right after the break.
Another banger.
Hey Mercedes, legends run wild, each one unique, with astonishing power, unstoppable, master warriors, ready to compete. Seeking glory. We live it, we breathe it, we have each other's back. Together, we become legends, icons of a new generation.
And welcome back to the interview studio here in Berlin as the Mad Lions leave to see another day here at Worlds 2020. And I have Orome with me to talk about this victory. First things first, hello and congratulations about this game. And how do you feel right now?
There's so many mixed emotions in me right now that I cannot even begin to describe it. Like there is frustration, anger, happiness, relief. I mean, I think those are the four biggest ones.
Okay.
But yeah.
We will focus on the positives here at first. I mean, tell me about the nerves maybe going into this game, knowing the situation you were in, and also tell me about navigating through this mess because, wow, that was a game, really.
Well, I think it was a really hard game. I mean, especially for me, it was, I think, a hard draft because I'm playing Wukong into Camille Sett. They have really easy gang setup, so basically one misstep and I'm dead. So, you know, it's the elimination match. The nerves are over the top. Obviously, no one wants to be the one that loses the game that makes you out of Worlds, right? I think everyone had this feeling of nervousness that no one wants to be the person that's like playing the worst, like losing your team the game.
Yeah.
And I think everyone stepped up in this last game to have a, I mean, I wouldn't say clean game, but cleaner than the previous games. And I think we are all very relieved right now.
Yeah, we take those step by step, you know, and you were mentioning the anger and everything. Talking about pressure, I feel like this is something that affected you so far, but it seems like it played out for you here during this game. So tell me about adapting to pressure, adapting to China, because I know you had an interview with Tahm recently. You were talking about playing on stage. So tell me about the difficulties you've been through here at Worlds since so far.
Well, the first day we had basically the first and the last game of the day. I think I had a pretty good performance in the first game, so I was happy with that. But we also had some difficulties. Like I'm really not looking to make excuses here, but I mean I was feeling like shit against TL, so I played really badly. I can admit that. And after that, it was kind of a snowball of nervousness goes over the top because I just had a bad game, and then it's like, holy something, I can't like have another bad game. Like we're at Worlds, we cannot lose. I would disappoint my teammates, and this, if you let it, it will consume you, and you won't be able to focus in game on what you have to do, but rather on what you cannot do, or what you're like, I cannot push this because the enemy jungler will gank me. This is like one type of example. You should be thinking instead, what can I do if I cannot push? I can go mid, or I can go put a ward, or I can whatever. And instead, your mind is all, I cannot push here because I'll die. I cannot push here because I'll die. I cannot push here because I'll die. And you get stuck in this mindset, which is really negative and really bad for you and your teammates.
Yeah, so it's fundamentals, and so also getting back this confidence. I hope that you know what you have to correct for the later stages of the competition. But for now, Orome, congratulations and thank you on behalf of Europe. And we will see you during the next round.
Thank you.
And back to you, Machine.
Thank you very much, Laura. Orome, though, it does sound like some disaster striking in the Mad Lions' mental game. No one wants to be responsible for the loss. Are they playing not to lose as opposed to playing to win? You can see the coach reactions as well. I'm sure that one definitely lighting up the faces of Mad Lions coaches, because I'm sure they spent the first 30 minutes in the same way we were, kind of
sweating.
Yeah. Preparing for the worst. I mean, it did definitely seem to be INTZ overcoming the issues that previously held the CB LoL at bay, but...
Yeah, and the draft was actually, I really liked NTZ's draft. I think it was excellent. They had the Camille for Tay on the top lane, and they had the situation where they basically had the Orianna Kow'Maw matchup, which is really Kow'Maw favored later on in the game. So honestly, everything favored them, but then they threw it away.
Yeah, I feel like the journey of INTZ has been quite bitter. It comes to an end now. I think they could have showcased a lot more. I think preparation was a very, very big deal when it came to play-ins, and I think some teams just realized which champions to pick up and which champions to avoid. Mad Lions stole this victory, but that's what happens in high-pressure situations. You kind of lose your mind and you begin to do what feels comfortable. Sett and Camille running into those fights when in reality it was all about just making sure this Kow'Maw is strong, give him all the CS and just poke. Instead, they just kind of ran into the enemies like barbarians.
What is the product of what you described in the green room as ants in the pants for some of the members of INTZ?
Because like Shini and Tae and also RedBert, they're very good at finding opportunities, and this is what was so good about them in the game against Team Liquid. This is why they won. But now the composition needs to be played out so differently. They have Kow'Maw, they also have the Senna. They want to play slow fights, but instead they just kept finding these engages. When maybe if the composition wasn't engaged, okay, maybe it would be good, but it just wasn't. And Kow'Maw was just left behind. He was spitting his acidic whatever it is, and he was just sad that everyone ran in without him.
Puppy spit, I believe, is the technical
Puppy
term.
spit.
Yeah, but I just want to make sure we remember this because we have to focus on the game at hand. We've got Legacy as well, but I wrote them down on my telephone device. Anger, frustration, happiness, relief were the four at the tip of Orome's tongue. So remember that one. That was the emotional roller coaster that Mad Lions were battling through. And of course, Legacy, no strangers to this one. We're taking a look now at the other battle. It's a battle for the top of the group. Legacy, a team that's flown under the radar. Now they can become the first team from the OPL to make it to the World's group stage. And of course, a big part of making it there is their star, an AD carry star as well. We haven't been singing the praises of an AD in some time.
I think right off the bat in the game against INTZ that looked a bit shaky, Raze was jumping in with his Tristana. He was playing very boldly,
like
he was playing very aggressively.
Tristana.
This man is looking for the highlight reel, and I feel like that confidence has carried over with a bit more precision. I think there are adjustments in drafts. His Jhin was good, his Ezreal was good. He's definitely the standout player, and I think Legacy Esports, their preparation has definitely it has given Raze a chance to shine.
Amazing. Now, I could be asking a stupid question here, but apparently these are stats for the All of Worlds right now. So he's first in damage, first in gold at 15.
I think it's amongst AD carries.
In the AD carry role. Like, this guy from an underrepresented region is taking the top spot amongst some royalty.
Yeah, which is crazy to me. It's the same for Tactical, actually. Both of them actually really performing to that level, which is unexpected to begin with. But I still am so taken back by the fact that an OPL team can actually make it that far and can actually potentially challenge and be a blue shell for not just the EU, but also an A region right now.
God, okay, so who makes it to groups? Is it going to be Liquid, or is it really going to be the ridiculous rags to riches story of Legacy?
I don't want to be that guy, you know, but I have to be that guy. Because I've been that guy this entire time.
Yes.
Legacy Esports won 2 games today off of the back of Mustache Hammerman, Ornn. They're not going to get another Ornn. That's for certain.
We don't know that.
Maybe it will happen, maybe.
Let's operate under that assumption. You guys have already, I'm not even a mastermind. I know Shen, maokai, you listed another one. You had like 4 or 5 Ornn replacements.
Ornn does everything.
Okay.
He's an assassin, tank mage, item builder.
I love the long list I saw. I saw one on Reddit. It was like blacksmith, mecha wizard. There's so many different ways
envy,
to describe
and all the emotions too.
Oh, the 7 deadly sins.
Yes.
Let's get them involved as well. But anyway, anime aside, we're stepping away from this for a moment. But when we do return, we've got more Worlds 2020. Don't go too far. And look at my spin.